Good morning, and welcome to the Carla Marie and Anthony Show. My name is Anthony.
I'm Carla Marie.
And you are the show, so thank you very much for being here. And we were talking about how if you weren't here, then it would just be Carla. What? Oh. If you, as the audience, were not here, Carla Marie and I would just be talking to each other, which we do enough of on a daily basis. And you said, Carla Marie.
I don't remember.
You said we should try.
Not talking to each other.
Yes, and then I said that I don't think Carla Marie would last. And I say this in all seriousness. This is why I truly believe Carla Marie would be great on a show like The Circle or Big Brother or any of those shows where you're
Big Brother,
really any reality show. Because you in those confessionals, like the cutaways where you're by yourself, you'd give them so much content.
So I was recently on the Beyond Influence podcast with Kwame from Love is Blind and the CEO of Later Influence, Scott. And in the beginning, I said something how like my mom said I would be great on radio because I talk a lot.
Yeah.
And at the end of the podcast, I think it was Kwame that said something like, well, your mom was definitely right. Or whatever.
You love talking.
And I was like, I'm so sorry because I will. And then I was like, I actually don't apologize because that's what got me here. But I apologize, but I don't because I can just go.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what it is. Like, it's more of like I'm waiting for someone to, it's like double dutch or jump rope. I'm just waiting until someone else jumps in. If you don't jump in, I'm not going to stop talking. So if you don't jump in, I'm never going to stop talking.
No, what I was saying was the reason you would be good on a show like The Circle specifically is because that show, from what I've watched, I've never watched a full season, but you're by yourself a lot, right?
Yeah.
And you're communicating through like text to speech.
You are literally
speech to text.
Only you are by yourself,
Yeah.
but the producers do have like speakers into your room, so they will talk to you. They will prompt you. Psh, will I need that? No.
And I have to tell Carla Marie sometimes in the house that you're not on The Circle. No, not everyone needs to know every inner thought because Carla Marie will be the one that's like, oh, you know what? I need to make a to-do list. And where's my pen? I need to get my pen, and then maybe I'll use the brown paper on the wall. No, I'm going to make my to-do list on the notepad next to the sink. Do you know if there's any tomatoes in the fridge? Like, it's a flow of consciousness all the time out loud.
Martha said we are the same person.
It's wild. And then, I don't know, 6-7 times a day, I have to say, Carla Marie, are you talking to someone or are you just talking? And she'll go, oh, I'm just talking. Okay.
To the cats. Yeah, I would have to bring the cats on The Circle. They let someone bring a dog recently.
I saw that.
I think it would be hilarious. I'm not going to London with the cats. I know recently I think they're filming in other cities. I think one of them was in Atlanta.
Okay.
I couldn't get through the last one. I don't know. Maybe I should try it out again. Wasn't feeling it.
Really? Was it the cast? Was it the fact that it's the same show kind of over and over?
I think it's the same.
Because this is what, season 4 or 3?
It wasn't moving fast enough for me. It was like 5. I think they were like taking too long to introduce people. And I'm like, no, I need swipe fast, swipe. But
Mergen1990 just said, my boyfriend recently told me I don't need to speak my thoughts out loud.
Sure you do.
And that's when Carla Marie will, similar to how I ask Carla Marie 6 or 7 times if she's talking to someone, Carla Marie 6 or 7 times a day will go, are you okay? Are you all right? And I go, yeah.
Why aren't you talking?
Why aren't you talking? I don't need to.
Oh, I will practice being quiet if you practice talking out loud for a day.
I do all my talking here.
Stop it.
I do. Believe it or not, I'm not a big talker.
Okay.
When I'm doing this stuff, I am.
Anyway.
AMS06H Carla Marie says, I didn't love the cast this season.
I don't know what it was.
Isn't it usually airs in the fall, right? No.
There's like 2 a year.
You all right, Snot Queen? You got a little more boogers under your nose. You should probably wipe that.
In a second. Anyway, I wouldn't go to London with the cats. But if it was in America and I could get all 4 cats, how fun would that be?
No, you should take 3 of them.
Max, Caroline, and Erica, me and the girls.
No. Max stays with me. Let's see. Soira said, what I do is start a conversation in the middle with my husband, friends, and family because I start the conversation in my head and then we'll continue that out loud. My brother, Justin, who's often in the chat, he is the biggest, What was that?
I don't know what it's called. Like to do that?
Yeah. I don't know what it is either. He's guilty of it, though.
I've done it, but not as much. Like, I'll do it when I'm, like, truly zoning out. My mom does it all the time. And I remember we'd be kids at dinner, and she would just start something in the middle, and my dad would be like, what in the actual?
Justin, and he's admitting it in the chat, by the way. He'll start, and he doesn't do it as much anymore. This was more when he was, like, a teenager. But he would start and go, anyway, what was that? And you're like, what do you mean anyway? You weren't just talking.
Yeah.
But
Can you mute?
Oh, you're going to throw some boogers out there?
Okay.
Oh yeah, that was his go-to word was also.
Oh, I start every sentence with also. And I guess it's because it's all happening. You know, I think there's something about us Pisces.
Maybe. You're all crazy.
Yeah, so
you're all just fish flopping around in the world trying to make it.
I need to give a health update.
A health update?
So I have a sty, which is driving me absolutely insane because it hurts and it feels like there's a wood chip in my eyeball. So that's fun.
So you got rid of the mounds on your chest and you put them on your eyeballs?
Yes. And second, earlier last week, I stopped taking my antihistamine, kind of by accident. I ran out and I was like, just going to raw dog the air tomorrow and see what happens. And I was fine. Almost every day I've been fine, which is kind of crazy because you have to keep in mind, I have been taking antihistamine every night for 2 years, at least one dose. Most nights I was taking 2 doses every night. And I have been completely fine until this morning.
Until today.
So now I'm like, well, what is it? Because if it's just like a random thing that's triggering, is it something I'm eating? What is it now that's doing this? But
maybe you're on the COVID coaster. Maybe it's your time on the ride.
I'd actually be happy and be like, oh, I just have COVID today. Now I would know.
When I was in Los Angeles, I stayed with my cousin whose wife is a surgeon at one of the hospitals down there. And I guess the hospital now, because COVID was skyrocketing again, they now have a mask mandate for everyone who walks in.
Oh, that's illegal in Nassau County.
Well, no, it's not illegal in Nassau County for health reasons.
Oh, I didn't. Well,
it's illegal in Nassau County because they don't want people wearing masks, mainly
at
like
protests.
Palestinian protests.
Right. But they're pretending it's not that.
Well, they're not doing a good job pretending.
No.
But no, in California, I don't know if it's every hospital in California or just the one that my cousin's wife works at. But they are masking up again, asking everyone who comes in, whether you're a guest or a patient, to mask up, which I understand.
Should always happen at a hospital.
Well, I was going to say,
patients.
I understand that a lot of people get really sensitive about masks now at public places, and I get it. At the gym and stuff like that, it's never probably going to happen again. But at hospitals and doctors' offices, I think everyone should relax a little bit.
Yeah,
right.
Like it's okay.
But it is raging again in a lot of places.
Yeah, one of my I feel like a lot of people I know have COVID, but no one here. So I'm been tiptoeing, just waiting.
What do you mean?
I have people that I know that live other places are getting the vid.
Yeah, it's raging again. So maybe you got some light vid. You know,
I'm gonna go do a quick blow again.
Okay, well, enjoy that. And I think what Jolly Russian Buddhist in the chat is saying is, I don't know if masks should always be mandatory in hospitals, but it would make sense if they were, because like you said, most people are going there because they are sick or weak or have some sort of ailment. So why not reduce the risk, if you can. What else do we have? Oh, let's go over the list while Carla Marie's gone. So we do have our Costa Rica trip. If you want to sign up, do that before the month is over. I know a lot of people are still thinking about it, trying to look at schedules, and I know that it's not until the very end of March, but there are things that we have to do on our end to make sure that it happens. So we're going to try to have everything locked up by Labor Day. Now, if we're close, we can extend it.
Yes.
So let's say we have 9 people instead of 11. We can extend it to the end of September, but we do need to figure out how many people approximately will or won't be able to make this trip. Secondly, Carla Marie's movie night is in 2 nights.
Yeah, Thursday night, there is a movie screening in Seattle at the Regal Meridian for the Aubrey Plaza movie called My Old Ass. and it's completely free. I don't know if I said that.
Yes.
Would love to see you there.
And Claire just put the link for our Costa Rica trip in the chat. If you have questions about it, feel free to DM us. I am at Worst Anthony on Instagram. That is where I actually do read DMs. If you happen to find me on Facebook, I'm not reading those messages. If you happen to DM me on Twitter or X, probably not reading those messages if they ever come through. And Carla Marie is at the Carla Marie on Instagram.
Yes.
So if you have questions, hit us up, let us know, and we can even send you the link there. Claire also put the link for the movie screening
Thank you, Claire.
in the chat. Thank you.
Hey, you were talking about masks in hospitals.
Yep.
Do you, anyone that has given birth before or has been there, do you have to wear scrubs if it's a vaginal birth? Like the people in the room with you, like the dad?
Oh, I don't know.
Because I know you have to like fully, if they're cutting you wide open.
Martha says no, and Tracy says no.
Which is kind of weird because that's also wide open.
Yeah. I don't know. I have no information.
Right? Isn't that weird when you think about it?
No, I don't think so. People have been doing that for centuries in like the dirt.
But why?
It's been fine.
Yeah.
You know? They were giving birth in caves, in fields.
But actually, that must have changed because when I look back at photos of when we were born,
Yeah.
my mom, me, and my younger sister, everyone in the room, like my brother was wearing scrubs when he came to meet me.
Scrubs?
Like there, it's not a full like a, I don't know, it's something. It's yellow. They're wearing scrubs.
Maybe that was just like the style back then. You know?
It's a yellow thing that everyone's wearing in the 80s.
It's me. Meech said you don't even change rooms.
Wait, change rooms for a vaginal birth, you mean? You don't change rooms.
How many
No.
rooms do you have to be in when you give birth?
Well, if it's a C-section, they take you to the ER. Not ER, sorry. I said that.
OR?
OR.
Interesting. Let's see. Tracy said, my husband had to put them on super quick when we found out we had to have an emergency C-section. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Then Fred said, I did wear scrubs when I visited for the first time. Let's see what else. Huh. So I guess if it's a C-section, it's like full hazmat suit.
Okay, it's not. It's more just like scrubs, a hat,
Interesting.
mask.
Huh. Things you learn. Next on the list, Carla Marie. This is a very big deal. Royalty Marie.
Yes.
Someone in the family finally did something of note.
Yes, finally. Well, she's not a Marie, but we had to put it because Marie is officially the family name. Mm-hmm. But my little cousin and goddaughter, Cameron, who is 16, has been competing in beauty pageants since she was like 6 or 8, maybe even younger. And finally yesterday, she won the National American Miss New Jersey Junior Teen. So for the next year, she will be, like, she takes over the Instagram account.
So she's Miss Teen New Jersey.
There's like 2. So it's different companies.
Okay.
So she will go around and, like, do charity events and
That's
promote
cool.
her cause and all this kind of stuff. I'm so excited for her.
What?
And I got to go to her first, like, I got to go to my first pageant of hers when we were back. When were we in New Jersey last?
That's a good question. When were we in New Jersey?
Oh, when we went back for graduation. So it was June.
Okay.
And I got to go to her beauty pageant for the first time ever. I go, this bitch wins yesterday.
Well, maybe you were bad luck.
Well, my mom has gone to every one except yesterday.
Oh, man. Maybe your mom's the bad luck.
That's what I said.
Well, what other pageants is she entering? Like, how many pageants can you enter per year if there's one? I mean, what was her, like,
I don't know what
preliminary round?
There's, like, different, it's not a preliminary. Actually, I don't know.
Morris County or something?
There are counties.
I don't know
like,
what county
last
she
one,
lives in.
she was representing, Kinnelon is where they are.
I don't know what county. So she's representing the town, the county?
It's weird. It's not as easy as you think, as we think it is. Like, oh,
I didn't think it was easy at all.
No, it's like, it's very confusing, and there's like different things that you could represent, and there are different pageants that are for different things. Like, I don't even know what the one I was at is. I don't know. Got nothing for you because it's so freaking confusing. And I love what she's done, but if I have a kid and they ever want to do this, I'm going to be like, sorry, they were all canceled.
Well, it seems like it's a lot of work in terms of like getting all the prep done.
Do you know how many outfits she had to have?
That's what I was going to bring up.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 6 for this weekend.
6 outfits.
Full-blown outfits. Not counting her. I don't even see her
crazy.
sport outfit in here.
Yeah, I know nothing about the pageant world. I'm right there with you, Claire.
Yeah, it's insane. But she's so like...
That's awesome, though.
Yeah, I'm so proud of her.
She is... So I've known her now, I guess, for, I don't know, when did I meet her? Probably 3 years ago?
Yeah, you probably met her, actually. I don't know if she came up to Elvis's show at some point when she was little, but...
Yeah, but I wouldn't, like...
Yeah. No.
I wouldn't have actually interacted with her as much. Like, I know her as a person for the most part now.
Yeah,
she is so, like, put together and polished.
It's crazy.
It's wild.
You have to be.
But I also feel like kids now are more, like, put together and polished overall.
I completely disagree with that.
Really?
They're just, like, they can't have conversations where and here's where it is different. Because she has been through this pageant cycle and has to be on stage, be in these interviews, be in these things. Like, she's going to have such a leg up on everyone else in her generation that is literally just a vidiot in their phone all day.
Do you, does she talk like a pageant person? Like, does she have to do like, one day when I'm older, I have to, I don't know however they talk, but it's like this, it's like that weird
I hate it.
Pacing.
I hate it. Yes. She does it very well. I can't do it.
Lady from Queens said child performers usually are more put together because they have to be. Yeah. And they're practicing it, right? They're practicing being in front of groups of people. They're practicing being in uncomfortable situations. They're practicing public speaking. Are we connected?
I think so. So I guess I don't need to do that.
As an advocate of spreading awareness about total body wellness through my initiative, Cameron's Positivity, I am always hoping to spark growth in others. I am also very passionate about volleyball and lacrosse, along with maintaining my good grades as an honor student. With the ambition of being a print and runway model, I plan to work hard to make my dream a reality. Continuing to improve my life and others every day through determination. From Kinnelon, New Jersey, I am Cameron Fogarty.
Like, I could not.
I can't speak that way.
No.
And I'm not saying it's bad.
No,
that's what she's supposed to do in that setting.
She does it so well. Yeah. But I can't. I mean, I guess it's like me saying I like doing a cheer and you can't. Like, there's a cadence to things.
Well, I also think, and for people who have seen Carla Marie at Seahawks, at the games that she hosts, there's a cadence to the way you speak. Yeah. You speak differently doing that hosting gig than obviously we speak here.
Yeah, and I'm trying to make it more relaxed. It was harder in years past because you have...
Hi, 12s. Today's T-shirt drop is presented by Safeway Supermarkets.
We had to over-enunciate for like kind of how the sound system was.
Yeah.
And now we got a brand new sound system this year, and I do feel like I can talk faster.
Yeah, people don't realize when you're talking, especially at large stadiums, into those microphones, you're hearing yourself back once it hits the speakers, and it really messes you up. A lot of people can't do it.
Yeah, I had, I did at Virginia Mason Athletic Center, it's really just like our practice field. There is no full sound system. It's just giant speakers, so I don't have an inner ear, but the speaker's behind me. So I will say a word, and then 3 words later, I hear it back. It's really delayed, and it's insane. I had one of the coaches, he was on the mic, and then he came up to me the next day, and he was like, how do you do it? I was like, what do you mean? He's like, how do you? I go, I don't hear it anymore. I tune it out for the most part.
If you don't practice it, it's almost impossible that first time you do it. Like, I feel bad when they make people do it live.
You can't. You have to.
It's crazy.
And I said, I tune it out for the most part, but when I start to hear it, it does bug me out. He said, I felt like I was on a roller coaster and I thought I was going to throw up, and I never want to feel that way again. So you'll be on the mic today for like whatever, something they had to announce during practice. And I was like, yeah, I guess it is kind of fun. Like, I look at them like, oh my God, you're a coach. This is so crazy. But they look at me like I can't do what you do.
Yeah. Well, this is something I was talking to my cousin about for some reason. My cousin Julian and I, when we were the old people in Vegas this past weekend, we were having lunch together, and we were talking about some famous person. I forgot who it was, but someone who is like notably, they're in a profession that most people think is a smart person profession. Okay. And they were saying some really dumb things. And the conversation kind of revolved around how just because you're really smart in one thing doesn't mean you're really smart in other things.
Right.
And the idea that any profession or academic specialty is better than another is kind of dumb when you think about it, right? Because, okay, you're a rocket scientist. That's great. That don't impress me much. But that's just because you studied that thing more than anyone else. Now, if someone says, okay, you're a rocket scientist, now go go give these cats immunizations in the vet clinic.
They're going to die.
You're not going to be able to do that. Right. Whereas the person who studied veterinary, oh my God.
Yeah, it is.
I hate that
veterinary.
Word. Animal science.
Which actually is insanely hard.
I'm sure it is.
You have to think of every animal.
I'm sure it is. But I think we almost have like this hero worship of certain professions and certain businesses where when you think about it, they just studied that thing longer. Yeah. And I'm not trying to take away from doctors or rocket scientists or whatever. I'm just saying, guess what? People who work in sanitation are also specializing in something.
Yeah, I couldn't do what they did. That's for sure.
People who work in marketing are also specializing in something. And everyone's decided to specialize in that thing that, for better or worse, you ended up doing as a career.
It's true. Megan said, the smartest people I know make some of the dumbest personal decisions. That's true.
Yeah.
It's so true.
It is kind of crazy. Where else? Let's see. There is no such metric as intelligence. An artist is just as brilliant in their artistry as a chemist in their lab. This is one of the things that I've been saying to a lot of people recently, because a lot of people will look at Carla Marie and say like, oh, well, you guys are creatives, right? Like you create content and whatnot. Not artists by any means, because I can't draw for shit. But my theory is everyone is creative in their own right. You're only successful in your industry or your business if you can creatively solve the problems of that industry or of that discipline. So everyone's creative in the way that they tackle their problems in their space. And everyone needs to kind of, I think at least, acknowledge that there is a creative process and give that creative process time to like develop.
Right. Like even doctors are creative for sure.
Yeah. Let's see. I have two very successful doctor, dentist, and vet friends. And both of them were dating loser guys who didn't have jobs or motivation to better themselves while dating doctors. Yeah. Listen, love is crazy.
Run Like a Husky said the C student still passes veterinary school.
What about that?
Like, we were talking about how intelligence, like...
Oh, yeah. Listen, C's are okay. They're fine.
I know. Honestly, if I could just go study cats, I would just be a cat vet. No, and then they would be like, okay, today you have to put down this cat. And I'd say, I quit. First day.
That's tough.
Done. Goodbye.
I don't think my cousin has to do that based on what she does for... So my cousin has a vet clinic.
She definitely has to do that.
I was talking to her recently. She doesn't do it often.
Does her people do it?
No, I don't think. I need to talk to her about it.
Don't die
so I have a cousin in Canada who opened her own, not clinic, but like veterinary office.
Is it clinic?
It's a clinic?
Yeah.
What's the difference between a clinic and an office?
Nothing.
So they're all clinics.
I feel like an office, there's nothing clinical going on there.
Anyway, she works with animals. Okay. She's an animal doctor in Montreal. And I feel like I was talking to her about putting animals down. And there's just like another place that she sends people to.
That's not, there's no way.
Something like that, yeah. Not.
Also,
I'll talk to her.
Does universal health care apply to animals in Canada too?
I don't think so.
But we have health insurance for cats in America.
Yeah, we pay for health insurance for cats in America.
I know, but in Canada, is it free?
I don't think, because they don't pay taxes.
Who?
The cats.
They might.
And the dogs.
Can you mute for 1 second?
Yes. Actually, you know what? We're just going to go to our break. We'll come back, talk about spiteful spending, Celine Dion versus Donald Trump, and Carla Marie and Anthony at night. Should we come back, Carla Marie?
Yeah.
All right. Hello. How is everybody today? Welcome back to the show.
Are you sure we're back?
Yeah, why would we not be back?
There we are.
Why would we not be back? Real quick, let's get into a couple things on the list here. We mentioned this yesterday, but we will be doing Carla Marie and Anthony at night the last week of August, so the week leading into Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, August 26th is the Monday.
And the reason we're doing that is we are actually taking off from doing the morning show podcast. We want to get ourselves ready to kind of launch properly into the end of the year, Q4, if you will, when people get back to their normal schedules after Labor Day. So we want to be ready for that with the morning show podcast. It'll have a slightly different sound, maybe some different features and segments.
Are we still going to do Monday, Tuesday, Thursday?
We don't know yet. We're figuring that out. Might we do 4 days? Might just do Monday through Wednesday.
Yeah.
So we'll play around with it. We'll have a little more information when we get closer at the end of next week.
I'm sure there will be actual breaking news that happens that week that we should have covered in the morning show podcast.
Talk about it here on the stream. There was a question that came up while we had the countdown earlier. And it was, I think Lenny said, is there going to be more profanity during the night show? And here's the interesting thing that I've always felt about podcasts.
This isn't a podcast.
Well, podcast live. This is basically a live podcast every day for the most part. Yeah. I think what happened in podcasting that kind of ruined it for a little bit was so many people, especially in radio, went, oh, we're going to have the uncensored podcast. We're going to have the uncensored Bob and Tom show. Or I think that's a real show. I didn't mean to insult them, but Bob and Billy, whatever. I don't know anything about Bob and Tom, honestly. I don't even know if they're still working.
Bob and Tom, isn't it like the showgram? Isn't that what they are?
I don't know. I've just heard of them before. Anyway, look, we're going to do uncensored. We're going to be able to curse. And I always thought to myself, that can't be the draw.
Right.
Right? Like you just cursing can't be the draw of the podcast. I understand. And we curse here. I cursed earlier in this stream.
You did? What'd you say?
I don't remember.
I don't think you did.
But it was a word I would not have said on the radio.
I feel like it's way more censored on the radio now than it was when we were there also. Because everyone's scared to get
Yeah. I think there is a level of fear because I think there's a generation of radio hosts out there that think everything gets them canceled, not realizing the intent behind what you say is what gets you canceled, not necessarily the thing that you say.
Yeah, I mean, we had...
Right, does that make sense?
We had Dirty Little Secret where we talked about everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. There was actually a great quote. I want to say, what's the guy who created Family Guy? Why can't I think of his name?
Seth MacFarlane.
Seth MacFarlane. And he talks about how the audience is smart. And the audience knows, the audience will tell you what you can get away with based on your intent and your presentation of that topic or that thing that you say that might be a little controversial. And you have to treat your audience with intelligence. Mm-hmm. You can't just make like the easy joke you could have made 30 years ago that might be taken as offensive today. If you're smart about your comedy, you can still do almost anything.
Of course.
I mean, Shane Gillis is a great example of that too. Shane Gillis is someone who says a lot of things that other comedians probably couldn't get away with because the way he says it and the intention behind what he says.
But to go along with what you're saying, Nate Bargatze, comedian,
does
not curse, does not do anything that could be considered sexual or that you wouldn't want your kids to hear.
He's hilarious.
And it's so funny. And I think right there, like, it's just two different things. But it's proof that you can be creative and be funny without,
But going back to cursing and podcasting and profanity on live streams and stuff, yeah, I'm all for it if it makes sense. But I don't feel like I need to like throw in an extra curse word just to make something funny or
for me, it's like if it's part of the emotion that I'm expelling and it comes out, then it makes sense for that thing. But I'm not just coming on here being like, good effing morning.
No, but if the jersey comes out of me, I go, get the fuck out of here, right? Like, that's different.
Yes.
And if my hand is up like this, right? Yeah. That's different. That's organic. That's natural.
Right.
That's how I was raised.
That is part of my culture and my homeland language.
When people talk about like bagels in New Jersey, they go, oh, it's the water. I go, no, what's in the water is somehow you come out of the womb like this.
Oh, man.
And like this. You're just doing this the whole time.
Like, if I ever had a baby and it came out like this, it did this, I'd be...
It's just a little...
Do you know what babies' noises they make?
They go...
No, they don't, actually. It's way worse than that. I guess you've never met one. What is the newest baby you've ever met?
The freshest baby?
You met Adriana after a week.
The freshest baby I've ever met, I think, would be my cousin Rudy's daughter, Elsa. Because we happened to be in LA the day she was born. You went to the
hospital.
I think I may have been the first non-parent to visit them in the hospital. Like neither of their parents. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember dropping you off before I ever met them. I didn't know them.
Listen, and I love my cousin Rudy, and I love his wife, Kate. I really had no business being the first person to show up there. I don't think they wanted me there, but I was like, listen, I'm here. I'm coming. So I think Elsa is the freshest baby I've ever met.
I Heart 80s? Is that what we're there for?
Yeah.
I dropped you off. I went and got a manicure pedicure. Man, I could have met Elsa when she was that little.
Super fresh, right out of the oven.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So you have met a super fresh. Yeah. Did you hold her?
The bread was still rising.
Did you hold her?
No, she was like this. She was like a little.
She was bigger than that.
She was like a Polly Pocket. Babies are weird, man. I don't like them. I really don't.
They're so scary.
Yeah, and their heads are doing the whole thing. They're like maracas.
I'll be honest though, and I've had this conversation with actual moms that had human babies, and they said they'd rather deal with a newborn than a kitten that just got spayed or neutered.
Why? Because
you could just put the newborn in the bed and then they can't move. A kitten that gets spayed and neutered, you have to be like, you can't move. Please stop moving.
So you just put it in a little cage.
And they still. And I have dealt with that, and I have cried, and it is torture.
Jen said I was on a business trip, I was on a business trip when my friend's baby was born, and I got off the plane and went to the hospital to see them. I cannot even imagine doing that in a post-COVID world. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. This was not when I went to go see the freshest baby ever. That was
2016.
Yeah, pre-COVID.
Elsa's 8.
Something like that. Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
8 is like the age that I remember being. What is the youngest age you remember being?
That's a good question. The youngest age I remember being.
Because I remember being so amped that it was an even number that I loved.
I don't really have. I remember my 10th birthday because I remember telling everyone I was in double digits. It was probably when I was 8. Because that's when I got stitches on my chin. And I kept telling the doctor, I did it on my birthday. And I kept telling the doctor, I was here 8 years ago. Because it was the same hospital that I was born in.
I hate you. Yeah. You're such a dork. I have memories way younger than 8 for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm in terms of like, I'm 8. I remember that.
I remember some of kindergarten.
That's okay.
So how old is that? How old are you?
5.
Yeah. So I guess 5 would be. I have some concrete memories.
I have the most coherent and consistent memories starting at age 8, but I think I remember things way before that.
Martha said I have 0 memories. Yeah.
I broke my arm when I was 7, so I'm going to remember that. In school.
Yeah, if there's like a traumatic event,
like an
injury or something, you're more likely
to remember I remember all of it. All of it. And kids, did I ever tell you this story?
No.
Go with your thoughts.
I was going to say, I think 5 is when my memory started because I'm just about 4 years older than my brother Michael. Mm-hmm. Okay. So hear me out here. There was a night where my parents' friends were over our house. They had a daughter who was maybe 3 or 4. She was just like moving around on her own. So maybe 2. I don't know. How old do kids, when do they get when do they get their land legs?
1.
1? Really?
Yeah.
Huh. So whatever. She was around 2 or 3, I think. And she crawled up into my brother's crib. So he was like an infant and she bit his nose because she thought he was a doll. So you
also don't bite dolls.
Well, some people do. So I vividly remember that night and like rushing Michael to the hospital.
Shut up. Was he bleeding?
Oh yeah, she bit off a chunk of his nose.
Does he have it still?
Yeah, he said he has it. But apparently my mom didn't tell me this until recently. The doctor told her that because they had to like stitch part of his nose back together, they weren't sure if it was going to grow normally.
But it did. So
my mom for years would like stare at my brother's face, just hoping everything grew in order the way it's supposed to.
Hold on. Where's this bitch now?
I don't know. Married somewhere?
I got bit by one of my mom's friends' kids too.
That happens.
And
kids bite.
He bit me. He was over my pool. My mom actually.
But going back, that's one of my earliest memories.
I think I was definitely under 8. I was probably 6. I'll call my mom right now. Maybe 5. This kid bit me. Mm-hmm. And he got in trouble. And later that day at my house, he pooped his pants. And my mom in front of him was like, This is what happens. You bit my kid, and now you poop your pants. And I was like, hey, you pooped your pants. And until this day, I mean, we're the same age.
Who is this kid?
I forget his name.
Oh, okay.
But
he was one of your parents' friends' kids.
Yeah. And like now, my mom will tell me when she's going to go see her, I was like, yeah, her son bit me and pooped his pants, right? And she's like, yep. And we're like 36 years old. Anyway, I think Adriana got bit at school.
Doesn't every kid get bit at some point?
Or no, sorry. That was what I thought happened. My older sister, who's 50, is a teacher.
Bit someone at school?
Is a teacher. She got bit at school. They had to send her. She had to go like for all these tests and things now because you get bit. So the school needs to send you, whatever. And when my mom said something like, your sister got bit at school. For some reason, my brain went to the child.
Oh, yeah.
So I have that story mixed up in my head. But yeah,
you have 2 family members that are teachers. 2
that are teachers, and then 2 kids in school.
So the probability of someone in your family getting bit, quite high.
Yes. Thank you, Martha, for quoting me, saying we also don't bite dolls.
I feel like kids bite dolls.
You have to teach them not to.
Yeah, well, she was a baby.
I definitely chewed all my dolls' fingers. Like all my Barbies chewed.
This is coming from the woman that just said, literally just said and was quoted saying,
We don't bite
dolls?
Yeah, like you're supposed to teach people not to bite dolls.
So did your parents do a bad job? Yes or no, Carla Marie?
I mean, I definitely got in trouble for it.
All right, I want to talk about spiteful spending real quick.
Okay.
So, I don't know if anyone else is feeling this, and maybe I'm late to the party. Maybe I'm early. I have no idea. I am getting to the point now, and I think it all started with us with tipping when we would get to like a mall kiosk and order and get like a Gatorade, and they'd expect a tip with that stupid. And I don't think the employees even expect the tip. I think it's just that stupid tablet.
But they can turn that off. There's definitely a way you can turn that off.
So I think it started there. And then you start to realize, okay, every streaming service is now upping their price a little bit, right? $2 here, $1 there, 50 cents here. But you have 7 streaming services. So that keeps going up. And then you use the delivery services and you start seeing all the charges. Then you go to buy a ticket to a concert and you start seeing their charges. And you go, you know what? That's it, I'm done. And I'm at a point now in my life where I'm like, that's it. I am out of spite giving these companies as little money as humanly possible.
Well, we're talking about which streaming services we're going to cancel.
I'm going to cancel all of them other than Netflix and Spotify.
And I can listen to the Seahawks games on the radio. I had to do it this weekend because I couldn't watch it. It wasn't on whatever.
Yeah.
So I'd listen to it, and it was great.
I think it was Fred in the chat. I don't know if he's here today. I think it was Fred who suggested basically just paying for one streaming service a month.
Yes.
Watching whatever content you want to, then canceling it, starting another one. The only thing I'm waiting on canceling HBO Max for is I want to catch up on House of the Dragon because season 2 just ended.
When's the last time you watched the show on there?
House of the Dragon.
And we've been spending?
Yeah, for a year. So they've gotten $100 and something.
So Kenton,
maybe 200.
He is one of my bosses at Seahawks. He does that only one streaming service at a time. Watches what he wants to watch, and then goes to the next. Yeah. It's not like it's going away.
Yeah.
And if it's if it's a show that's going away, it's normally like The Office has been on the streaming service. It's not a new show, right? So it's going away. It'll be on another streaming service. That's how it is. He doesn't have Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
So because if your order is over $25, I believe, 25 or 35, it's still free 2-day shipping. Yeah. So he's like, I just wait until I have to order 2 things. He said the only time he bought Prime was he bought it for a month when he was moving or doing construction at the house and you needed stuff a lot. He's like, that's it. I don't have Amazon Prime. I save almost $200 a year on that.
It's crazy, right?
So
when he does get Amazon Prime, though, tell him to subscribe to our channel with Prime. Send some of that money our way. No, but I think it's one of the reasons that, like, for example, on the way back from Las Vegas yesterday or 2 days ago. Yes, Carla Marie.
Grubhub is free with Amazon Prime, but we don't have that here.
I do think Amazon Prime, and as much as I can rag on the company and the former CEO, there do seem to be a lot of benefits with that subscription. So maybe it's worth it. But on Sunday, or on Saturday, I should say, when I was checking into my flight to come back here, which was on Spirit Airlines, I had booked I think I maybe paid $180 for my round trip. So managed to make this very cheap. When I checked in to come back to Seattle, it asked me if I wanted to pay for my seat. And it was going to be like $25 to select a seat. I said, you know what? No. It's a 2-hour flight. I don't need to get nickel and dimed here for a 2-hour flight. So I ended up in a middle seat, which wasn't great, but I felt better about it.
Yeah.
I'm at a point now where I'm just saying no to every additional charge. I haven't used a food delivery service.
We have not.
In months.
I mean, if anything, we did pick up, but we haven't.
Yeah. And plus, we have the benefit. Listen, we live in a city. Yeah. There's a million places to eat within a mile of us. This
is what gives me anxiety. Like, if we were to move to the suburbs, I think I would starve.
And Fred brings up a good point. Fred said, I made it through football season last year, all on free trials. I don't know if you've seen all the memes that are coming out now.
I guess we could.
But the amount of money the average fan would have to pay to watch all of the primetime games now in the NFL, it's like $600 or something crazy like that. And everyone's saying, oh my God, I can't believe I have to spend $600. And I'm saying, I'm not. Whatever I currently have access to is what I'm watching.
And here's what you can do. Your local radio station.
Or TV station.
Or TV station, if you have also we have to pay YouTube TV. That's $80 a month.
Yeah, but that's
cable.
Yeah.
But that would be way cheaper if we didn't have to pay for any of the other stuff. But your local radio station has a deal with whatever sports team you like, and you can listen. And they also probably have an app. I listened on the Seattle Sports 710 app.
Is it a standalone app for them?
Yes.
Okay.
And I listened to the game, and it was great because I never get to listen to Steve Rabel. He is very much a part of the Seahawks organization. And if you're watching a lot of plays that are posted, it's his voice, and I never get to listen to him live. And it was so fun. And I got to do things around the house and listen to the game, where if I'm still doing things around the house and having it on the TV, it's not as detailed. It was great.
Kendi said, go to the local sports bar. The problem is, if I go to the local sports bar, I'm going to end up spending more money than I would have on all of those subscriptions.
True.
Those chicken nuggets are expensive these days.
Yeah. So there are options, and I'm doing a lot of different things to see how to save money, because I think it just kind of not that I was just spending money left and right, but I was just like, oh, I need to do this, but I don't need to do this.
Well, that's one of the interesting things. And listen, I'm not an economist. I'm not going to be able to tell you, I'm not going to give you breakdowns of the how the economy is working, but you hear a lot of people talk about, oh, well, the average American can't afford anything these days, which is true. I'm not trying to say it's not. But also I'm starting to wonder, how much is it that the average American could afford life? It's just we've allowed these corporations to nickel and dime us to death.
Yeah.
Right? Is the economy broken, or are we just allowing corporations to essentially ruin our lives?
I follow someone who got rid of every single streaming service. I think even their music, all of it, which is
I do need Spotify.
I need something. Also, for what we do, we need to just be a little bit in touch with what's going on in the world. So it's possible. She still runs a very successful business. It's
that
hard.
It's that avocado toast.
And
if
Starbucks latte.
You just weren't buying that avocado toast,
you could have a house.
That's it.
On a beach.
That's it.
Martha said, we canceled our sitter last night to save money, and I went to parent orientation alone. Then I went out for a drink and spent more than I would have if I spent on the sitter. But who did you go out for a drink with? Was it worth
Was it worth the experience? The experience is always worth it. Although I will say, when I was in Vegas this past weekend, I was walking around that casinos thinking, what recession? What economic trouble? Every one of those tables had people throwing $50 down every single hand.
I know.
Every one of the tables in all 3 casinos that I walked through on Saturday night, all packed.
Right.
Which I think gambling does go up when times aren't great.
Yeah,
so maybe that's part of it. But
you can win that money back.
Man.
If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLING, please.
Soira said, I think we are just accepting corporate greed, and if it benefits us, we let it slide a bit. At least I do. I'd rather pay for convenience up to a certain amount than nickel and dime myself.
Yeah, but I'm trying. I'm nickel and diming myself. Well, no. What did she say?
I don't think you understood it. But I do think we're starting to see a shift where there's almost this quiet revolt against our corporate overlords. Yeah. And I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
I mean, your dollars are the most powerful thing you have. And where you choose to spend and not spend your money, that is the only way we can truly dictate things.
And in a world where we're kind of tricked into believing we have choices, right?
I can't find that quote you told me about. Was it George Carlin? You were telling me about in Florida that in America we don't actually have freedom.
I may have just played a video for you. I don't remember.
You told me when we were driving. You said it's a George Carlin quote,
Maybe.
and it's something about we don't actually have freedom in America. We have
the illusion of choice.
Yeah.
Is that? I think that may have been a George Carlin thing.
Say it out loud.
I don't know the quote. I didn't just watch the video. But when we have the illusion of choice, I think the only real choice we have is to spend as little money as we can and force the corporations to come down to our level.
Yes.
Right? And that's actually what happened with a lot of the big supermarkets recently. Walmart, Amazon, and 2 other companies. I think Target started lowering their prices because they just realized everyone stopped spending their money because they felt like they were being price gouged. Let's see. Further Mailman said Carlin did the illusion of choice bit for sure. And the crazy thing is, from when Carlin had that rant on whatever talk show he was on about the illusion of choice, our choices have been even more limited. Think about when he probably said that was probably, the early 90s?
I don't know. I think of him living way earlier than that, but yeah.
But think of how many more airlines we had when he probably, right? U.S. Airways,
but we didn't have Spirit.
Spirit may have existed back then. But
he's still alive.
George Carlin?
He died.
No, he's definitely dead. He's most definitely dead.
I was confused because it didn't say died. It just said he's 71, but that's when he died.
All right, moving on though. Moving away from the economy and into the weirdest.
Oh my God, what is happening?
The weirdest rivalry I think we'll ever see in our lives. Celine Dion versus Donald Trump. Have you heard this?
Yes, it's the best.
Well, now apparently Isaac Hayes is also suing the Trump campaign. Isaac Hayes is call him like an R&B soul singer.
What song?
I'm Coming Home. Drake actually used a sample of an Isaac Hayes song kind of recently. Anyway, Celine Dion's team has sent a cease and desist letter to Donald Trump's team asking to stop using My Heart Will Go On.
Well, have you seen
campaign events?
Have you seen
where are we? What timeline is this?
The writers have lost their minds. Okay, so
what timeline are we in?
And listen, if you are a Donald Trump supporter, this has nothing to do with that. This is just so insane.
If she sent the same letter to Kamala Harris, I'd be laughing just as much.
Okay, so there is theory, though, that someone in Trump's own campaign is trolling him. Playing that song, saying this campaign is a sinking ship. Because there's no other reason why you would play that song.
Oh, man.
And that's what Celine Dion came out and was like, but why this song? She even said, I don't understand why this song.
Okay, if you were taking it from the pro-Trump stance, the song is probably like, they tried to shoot me and tried to assassinate me, but my heart will go on.
The guy dies in the end.
Yeah, but maybe he's Rose. If anyone is Rose, it's Donald Trump.
It's not Jack.
If anyone's not letting anyone else on that door.
No, I think it's what's his name? Billy
what was his name? We saw him doing
signings at Comic-Con.
At Comic-Con LA 2 years ago.
I just remember Steve being like,
Billy Blaine? No, Billy Blaine's the workout guy.
Billy Zane.
Billy Zane.
Remember Steve was like, Billy Zane's doing autographs right by our booth.
But
like,
okay.
What?
But again, not getting into the policies of the former president. The idea, and I know this happens often, like I think it was Bruce Springsteen who asked, was it Reagan or Bush to stop using Born in the USA, which again, the song didn't make sense for what it was being used for.
Correct.
Because believe it or not, Born in the USA is kind of it is an anti-American song.
Correct. But here's the thing, this happens every campaign season. Yeah. Everyone uses a song they're not allowed to do, and it's like...
I just didn't expect it to come from Celine Dion.
Excuse me, sir or madam, aren't you running for the people that are going to be... aren't you going to be passing laws? Don't you know about any of the... Like, it is the most basic of laws. You can't use music you're not supposed to.
The copyright law is interesting, though. Because there is a difference in playing live music.
Correct. I'm not talking about...
Than playing like on-demand stuff. So I don't know. Let's see.
Okay, so anyway, he uses this song.
Yeah.
Have you been following the full drama? Because then she was like, stop it. Please don't use my song. And do you know what Don Jr. said?
Oh, no.
He said something, don't quote me exactly, but he was like, what do we care? She's not even American.
Then why? But you care. You're using her song.
Because she's Canadian.
Yeah.
And it was like, what do we care what a non-American Celine Dion says?
You care a lot. You're playing her song. That's a wildly stupid argument.
It's so good. Wait.
Who was it? Does anyone know?
Maybe like one of your
who Bruce Springsteen had a beef with?
I feel like
for
it
Born
was
in the
probably
USA?
Reagan. When did that song come out, though?
Born in the... Well, it doesn't matter. When did Celine Dion come out?
No, I'm just saying it wasn't before. Was it before Reagan is what my
Let's see.
question
Born in the
was.
USA.
5 artists who told campaigns, quit using our music. Right there. Bruce Springsteen versus Ronald Reagan.
Okay. Oh, it was Bruce versus Reagan. Next, you have Tom Petty versus George W. Bush and Michelle Bachmann.
Yep.
What song was that?
I Won't Back Down.
I won't back down.
But Tom Petty also has American Girl.
Hart versus John McCain. He lost that battle. Let's see. Sam Moore
versus Barack Obama.
Who's
Hold
Sam
on,
Moore?
I'm coming. I have not agreed to endorse you for the highest office in our land. I reserve my right to determine who I will support. I mean,
You
yeah,
absolutely do.
exactly.
Oh no! For the record, I'm on the artist side every time
100%.
in this
I don't
debate.
care who it is. Silverson Sun Pickups versus Mitt Romney.
Let's see.
Do they
Their
know
song
that?
"Panic Switch."
Well, they could just go to like a motion array and get get the same beat that everyone uses for no licensing.
I don't know who Silver Sun Pickups is, and I also don't know who Sam Moore is. But
Oh my God!
but I'm on their side every time. If you don't want your song being played tied to a political campaign, whatever that campaign is, you have every right to say no. Oh man.
Oh, that's right. And Trump did try to use "Don't Stop Believin'," and then Journey said, "Sir, please stop using our song." Doesn't 50 Cent love Donald Trump? Why doesn't he use his music?
No, 50 does. I don't think 50 does. But I think Run Like a Husky brings up a good point. Trump better stick to country and Kid Rock.
Yeah.
Like, why not pick Jason Aldean loves you? And I'm not saying this as a joke. Why not pick a Jason Aldean song? Why not pick the people who are out there campaigning for you? Why not pick a Kid Rock song? If Donald Trump, after he got shot, came out to Ball with the Ball by Kid Rock, I would lose my mind.
Hold on. I need to find this exact Don Jr. quote.
And then Kid Rock could even make, if they're buddies, right? He could make a remix and be like, my name is Don Trump.
Please don't give anyone ideas.
That would be so badass, though. Why not?
Okay, hold on.
And then it goes, ball with the ball, da bang, diggy, diggy.
Wait, Don Jr. has a podcast or show called Triggered with Don
Oh,
Jr.?
yeah. It's huge. He screams into the microphone the whole time.
Okay, that's fine.
I also, one of the things I'm excited about if Kamala Harris wins, okay, and I'm not telling you to vote for. I don't care who you vote for. The thing I'm excited for, though, is she doesn't have, not only does she not have children of her own, but she doesn't have adult kids that she cares for, right? Aren't her...
They're stepkids, and one of them is...
They're like 11, though, right?
No. They're adults. Like, one of them is like a fashion designer.
Oh, man, I thought they were like kids.
No.
I'm sick of campaigns with adult children. I don't want to see Don, Ivanka, Hunter, none of them.
None of them.
Like, how old were Obama's kids when he was in office?
Yeah, bring kids back to the White House. You sound like you're on...
I sound like
He's
I'm
like
Epstein's
J.D.
plane.
Vance.
Which, have you seen the Epstein plane drama now?
Yes. That Trump's campaign is renting Epstein's old plane.
And there is a reason for that. It's not as nefarious as it sounds.
I know. It's just like, okay.
It was, so Trump has his own planes.
I can't find
He has his own private planes, or at least planes with his names on them. He showed up to the Montana campaign event yesterday, or 2 days ago, whenever it was, in a non-Trump plane. So people were looking into the serial number. And at some point in time, that plane was owned by Jeffrey Epstein. In fact, it was the plane that brought him to New Jersey when he was then arrested.
Oh.
So he landed, I believe, at Teterboro Airport, and the federal agents raided the airport, arrested him.
But to their defense, why would you think to look who owned this plane?
And this is why this is one of those articles.
Apparently they rented it through a private service where you rent planes.
Yeah. And this is one of those articles where when we have tried to do stuff with the morning show podcast, people always ask why don't you talk about Biden falling on his bike or Trump saying this stupid thing? And I go, that's not really news. And I understand the connection between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein
Right.
is news, but him using an old plane that was rented by a third party isn't.
But do you think he got on that plane and was like, I've been here before?
I'm sure they gutted it at some point and like redid it once they got possession of it. I don't know. Let's see. AMS says, Silver Sun Pickups. They had one song back in the early 2000s called Lazy Eye. I'm going to have to listen to that later.
I am going insane trying to find this. I swear I saw it yesterday. He said, what do we care what non-American Celine Dion thinks?
If you don't care what she thinks, you probably shouldn't play her music. Okay.
Oh, the Silver Sun Pickups are in Milwaukee on September 4th.
Hell yeah. Should we go see them? Who did they didn't want John McCain playing their song? No. That was
Romney.
Mitt Romney.
Oh, they're going to be in Montclair, New Jersey on September 12th. We might actually be in New Jersey on September 12th.
What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive.
The writers this season of America are giving it all they got.
Yeah. I don't know if they're going to have anything left in the tank for next season.
I'm okay if they retire. Just take a break, take a little hiatus. I would love to cancel that subscription service.
Ron Like a Husky said, how about J.D. Vance dressing as a woman?
Did you see
I've dressed as a woman.
No,
I don't know.
But have you seen it? It was
No.
like in college.
Okay.
He's dressed as a woman. And that's fine.
Yeah.
But also, don't be the person that's like, well, if you dress as a woman, you have to go to jail.
Yeah, but I don't know if dressing like a woman and having anti-trans
No.
beliefs are the same thing.
No, but think about the laws passed in Tennessee. If you are a man dressed as a woman, you literally go
like
to
in
jail.
drag, yeah.
No, but where's the line? I don't know. That's the question. What count? Is it the amount of makeup? Is it if you have concealer on? Is it eyeliner? Because if it's eyeliner, then J.D. Vance is going to jail.
Well, if it's concealer, every politician is going to jail.
Exactly, and is it heels?
I don't know.
Because what if you're a drag queen and you decide to wear a pantsuit?
All I know
is it a dress?
Is if they passed that law in New Jersey or Washington, I would for sure be in jail.
I have a photo.
Sure.
Like, you've done it all. You've been dressed in drag,
Mm-hmm.
in a dress, okay? Full makeup,
Yeah.
wig, and you performed a Train in Men.
Mm-hmm.
You would be.
And I crushed it, by the way.
You would be a convicted felon.
I'd have to be convicted first.
They would convict you.
We'll see.
Lock them up. I will come visit you maybe.
Oh, man. It's just a wild time. I cannot wait for November to come and go. Because there isn't a worse time in any country, really, but specifically in America than like right before an
So
election.
annoying. And I was going to have
worst.
my niece fly out here the week like after the election because the flights were pretty cheap.
Okay.
And I was like, well, there's probably going to be protests, riots, who knows what.
Who knows?
Either
You can't. I mean, if there is, then you don't take the flight. I don't think there will be. Did anyone hear the Twitter interview with Trump and Elon Musk? I didn't.
Didn't it break?
It broke at first. It took them a while to get going, and then I guess it went on for like 2 hours, but I wasn't going to give that any time.
There's just so much drama, and we live in this world now where something you said so many years ago, video, not, it's going to come back.
Mm-hmm.
And like J.D. Vance saying, I'm a never Trump guy. Now there's this tweet that Elon apparently put out that years ago when he was anti-Trump.
Oh, yeah, he was.
That said when Trump 8-year term would be done, because this was when he was originally 2016, he'll be 82 years old. No one should be a chief of anything, let alone the leader of the United States at 82. And it's like
they used to have a Twitter beef, but each of them has had a Twitter beef with everybody, right? Like, I don't think of your Twitter beef and give it any validity if you beef with everybody on Twitter, right? Like, at some point, I think David Brody used to say this.
Being highlighted.
David Brody used to say this a lot. If you're offended by everything, you're really offended by nothing. Like nothing means anything at that point if you're offended by everything. So if you get mad at everybody on the internet, I just don't take anything you say seriously because if everything gets you mad, there's no core value that you have, in my opinion. So
correct.
It's a weird world. Let's see. I blocked Elon on Twitter, says AMS. That's the one problem that I've had with him buying Twitter is he is all over my feed now.
I'm scared that if I block him, he's going to find me and kick me out.
Oh, he might. Then you'll be okay.
And I will be fine.
You'll be all right. Twitter has become, other than when I'm watching.
I do see some funny stuff up there.
Yeah, but all the funny tweets I see on Twitter, I end up seeing them on Instagram, like as screenshots. So I don't have to be on Twitter for it's like I get the best parts of it. The one thing I will use Twitter for almost forever is live sports.
Yeah. Or award shows because it's fun to watch with the rest of the world together.
And then during college basketball season, I follow a lot of writers, like specific New York, New Jersey writers that cover the Big East or cover Seton Hall specifically. And that's where I get a lot of my content.
Gabby said X is great for traffic here in Seattle, like seeing where there's traffic updates.
Yeah.
I do actually get, if there's like something happening, unfolding, police involved, whatever, the Seattle police do a great job at posting what's happening.
Yeah.
Fire department, same thing, or just any, I'm sure you're local, wherever it is. That's where I get, because it's coming straight from the source.
I mean, if you're going to a national park or a ski resort, you should probably follow them on Twitter. That's where you're going to get the updates first and easiest. The other thing that I've done with all my social media, honestly, is I have been more conscious about who I follow and what content I interact with, right? Because at the end of the day, all of those platforms are giving you back what you have asked them to give you, whether you know it or not. If you rage respond to someone, or you send someone an Instagram video that you find offensive or you don't like because you want to send it to your friend and say, how stupid is this?
Right.
The algorithm is saying they sent this video to someone, which means they care so much about it.
Or they hate it.
Responded to it. So they care so much about it. So we're going to send it back. Because the algorithm doesn't care whether you hate or love something. They just want to know that you
engaged with it.
Cared enough in either direction to engage with it and or send it. So what I do is I'm really conscious now about the things I send, I interact with, and the people I follow. And I've enjoyed my social media experience way more. And if there's a person who keeps coming up in my feed, and because, you know, in every walk of life, there are these like internet provocateurs where they just say things to get a reaction. I will hit block or don't show content from this creator.
Yeah.
I don't block topics necessarily.
Yeah,
because that gets to like this weird, dangerous gray area. But I will block creators or ask them to be removed from my feed. And I have literally in the past year, I've had such a better time on social media than I used to.
I have a habit of liking every video just as it comes down my feed. And now I'm like, I need to stop doing this because someone's going to see my likes publicly and be like, you liked this video? I'm like, I don't know. I didn't even watch it.
I will also, and this is if you follow different creators, I'm not saying this for our benefit, but we know a lot of people that are creators, whether it's through radio or digital creators or whatever.
Yeah.
I will make sure I engage with their content because it is stuff I want to see.
Send their content to anyone.
But I'll like it or I'll respond with like smiley faces or laughing faces or fire emotes, whatever. Emotes are here on Twitch. That way the algorithm knows, hey, this person's interacting with this content. They want to see more of it. So you can do that.
Yes.
It takes some time to kind of clear the algorithm from your past interactions.
Yes.
But it's definitely something that you can do to better your experience on social media.
More mindful about it.
Yeah. What else do we have here? The amount of memes I've sent and received about the Australian breakdancer. I think that we're all guilty of that, Lisa. Were you the one that sent me the video of her actually breakdancing kind of recently? It's actually decent.
Kind of recently, yesterday.
Anyway, we have rambled enough. It is time for us to get out of here. Yes, Carla Marie.
If you're a T-Mobile customer, don't forget it's Tuesday. Check your T-Mobile app.
T-Mobile Tuesday.
Because there's a 90% off of a 6-month premium membership. Daily Burn, it's a fitness app.
Oh, I've heard
90% off. You get it for $8.99
for 6 months.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. You just got to put a reminder in your phone. Make sure you cancel.
Oh, free 3-month Super Duolingo.
That's pretty good too.
I love that we just talked about canceling subscriptions.
Yeah, but this is how we should be shopping, right? We should Costco-ify life.
Hold on.
What? Get a discount on everything. Buy in bulk on everything.
Because Super Duolingo.
What's so super about it?
You just nonstop. You can do all the lessons. You don't have to wait. You don't have to watch the ads of the Santa guy and talking about his games and like I don't know what. Where you can do all the things and then you can like supercharge. I did it for 2 weeks.
I will say, Run Like a Husky just put Costco with a heart emoji in there. Probably the best membership that we have.
Yeah,
it's Costco.
Yeah, we went yesterday.
It's the best.
Every time I'm there, I'm like, I can't believe this is so cheap.
Yeah.
Do you know what this costs at a regular grocery store?
Yeah.
Crazy.
T-Mobile Tuesday, haven't heard of this. Well, AMS06H, are you in luck? Because we, as T-Mobile partners, have talked about T-Mobile Tuesday for a while. And it really is, if you have their membership, if you have their T-Mobile plan service, you download the T-Mobile Tuesday app, and there are discounts every single week.
Well, and there are discounts,
ton of different things,
like kind of always in there, but every Tuesday they release new ones. Like for us, actually, some of them are local too, I think. But
you can turn on local T-Mobile Tuesday offers.
There's free food in there. And then you can get 15% off at 22 Hilton brands nationwide. There's like all these different things, car rental stuff that's regular, but like then there's always like the featured one. So
what do we have right now?
Buy one, get one sub at Hook and Ladder.
Hook and Ladder.
It's a Firehouse subs. Sorry.
Oh,
at Firehouse subs. But Hook and Ladder is the sub you can get for free. So buy one, get one. Then there's a local coffee savings. So what coffee we got here?
Real quick, Carla Marie. Sweeties by Via said, that's how I got my discounted Shania Twain residency ticket back in May.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So if you have
Super
T-Mobile,
Duolingo is huge. Oh, Dave and Buster's, $12 for $20 of gameplay. So you save $8.
That's pretty awesome. Oh, they changed the T-Mobile Tuesday app to T-Life. I remember that. Sorry about that.
It's called T-Life.
Thank you, Z.
Terrible. 10% cash back at participating restaurants every Tuesday. See?
There you go. So we are out of here. If you do have T-Mobile Tuesday, or if you do have T-Mobile, check out the T-Mobile Tuesday offers. We will see you on Thursday. Don't forget there are new episodes of the Morning Show podcast wherever you get your shows. Peace out.
Peace out, Cub Scouts.